Welcome back to my Project Breakdown series. This time, we'll be going through my dark trance song, Malevolent Spirits. It was inspired by the paranormal genre, specifically television the likes of Ghost Adventures and Destination Fear. Well, Destination Fear turned TV show to YouTube series, and I isolated tons of paranormal sounds from the new iteration Project Fear's early episodes to be the main vocal elements. So, let's start with those.
Vox Bus.
Under the Vox Bus is the EVP's submix, where I've organized all my favorite paranormal samples. They've been chopped and reversed into an unholy mix, and there's a light washy reverb automated at the beginning and end to bring about an ethereal edge. Above that bit, we have the Vox submix, and that's where the main vocal sample saying is located. The line is also sampled from the show. It's Tanner. He says it during a packet read. I had intended on naming the song what I did before the samples were gathered, so it was fate when I was watching the episodes for samples and heard it. There's also some reversed reverb tails for swells, and everything's got eerie delay and reverb from the send, so they sit perfect. It's all bussed into some light distortion for fuzz, as well as mishpy for that classic tape-bending weirdness I love it for.
Effects Bus.
Let's move down to the effects bus. I've got an impact and riser that are created from the song itself, then mangled into form with all sorts of effects like Ruina, Phase Mistress, OTT, with delays, reverbs, and saturation too. The same goes for the gated ambience. Everything gets saved into this crafting folder during its iterations, so I can always go back and reuse those elements for farther sound design purposes. Like always, I have a constant white noise sample that I bounce down from a MIDI sequence that runs the entire length of the track. Then I automate its EQ filter for sweeps and downlifts, so there's always a bit of background energy.
Leads Bus.
Next, the leads bus. Starting at the top, I've got a pad that is meant to fill out the upper atmosphere during the quicker bits. It was created in Nexus and gets run through IM Pusher and Crystallizer to detail the highs, then sidechain to the actual leads below via Smooth Operator, so that it's only filling out the high end when there's actually space to do so. This next section is a bit whack to look at, but it breaks down into 1 lead, 2 ARPs, and 3 acid synths.
1 lead.
The main sound is made in ME80 version 2.5, and is the ghostly synth that drives the whole vibe of the track. I love automating the brilliant sliders in this VST, as it allows me to add a lot of movement to the sound. It gets run through a pretty sizable effects chain consisting of a filter freak, vocal synth, mishpy.
You can never have enough mystery. Praise be to the tape deck god.
EQ, delay, and compression. Flux Mini 2 is used here, as well as with lots of other instruments, for envelope shaping to create a pumping feel when necessary.
2 ARPs.
Both ARPs are edits of the same Nexus preset and alternate presence to mix up the feel throughout. They have lots of cutoff and resonance automation, which helps to blend them in and out. I use the ARPs mostly for the halftime middle section of the song, because at the beginning and end, I've got something else to fill out the space.
3 acids.
All the acid sounds are in 3 distinct tracks, and follow the same principle: high filter resonance, lots and lots of cutoff sweeps. They're all automated for maximum hits of stabby acid goodness. The top one is created in random, and sent through a pan man to get it out in the stereo field. The next two are both Alien 303 preset modifications. The first one is Gated and Flanged. And the second one is Distorted through multiple distortion stages. All three hit a baby audio tape unit to slightly tame the craziest of resonances. At the very bottom of the leads bus is the
Lonely Trombone.
He's here to provide punch during the midsection swap up. Made in Bell and Bone from Rhapsody, it plays stabs to emphasize certain drum hits. It's got tons of compression and some other effects for widening like Fat Plus and some chorus.
Bass bus.
Moving on to the bass bus, I've got it split into two tracks. Both are modified Trance bass presets. The top end one is quite plucky and has all the sub removed. It's very wide and gets a pass-through roux enough for more grit. Maybe the most important part of this track is the groove provided by the quick flux automation, so that the bass can play really fast triplet diddlies and still remain coherent. The sub portion is generally playing simpler quarter note rhythms for a pumping low end, but sometimes does mirror the top pattern for more fullness. It's all bussed into Quad Bass, my favorite all-in-one bass processing plugin. It is developed for metal use by Arch Echo bassist Joe Calderone, but I've had tons of success using it for my synth basses as well. Anyways, it gets a bit of compression on entry, as well as mild boost to the mid frequencies, with even more drive applied to the very high frequencies to help them cut through. I use the no cab setting as always. I'm sure it has its use cases for its intended purpose, but I haven't been able to dial in any tones that I really find it necessary on. The input gain is sidechained to the kick, so the two tracks never clash.
Drum bus.
Near the bottom is the core of it all, the drum bus. Most of the kit is made in DR910. I've used it on a few projects as a somewhat complete drum source, and it has a great interface and sound quality even if I don't use all of its features. It's used for the kick, snare, toms, hats, and cymbals in this song. The elements that aren't from DR910 are a wood block that pop up every now and then, as well as a mixed down kit of even more paranormal hits and thuds from the show. Programming drums is so fun, and I really enjoy using velocity, cutting, and pitch shifting to create a really solid groove. All the drums, as always, are bussed through a Baby Audio IHNY2 with my custom preset tuned for this project. Drywood is automated so that it can really drive during those drops.
Effects.
At the very bottom of the project, I have my sends: room verb, big verb, and delay. As always, they are some combination of Tone Boosters reverb, Acoustica Pro Studio reverb, and classic delay, respectively. They're all sidechained to the kick and snare tracks for even more presence of drums and a clear, energetic, glued backdrop.
Master.
All that's left is an EQ and transit on the master bus. The EQ is for global cutoff automation, and the transit is for builds and transitions, utilizing a custom preset I called Flutterbys. Transit is great for these tasks, and in this one it's mainly adding pump and tremolo, but also a bit of wash. Finally, it hits a limiter to reach proper levels, and that's the track. Well, I hope you enjoyed your tour through Malevolent Spirits. I had a ton of fun making this one, and it's got a vibe that I really want to explore farther in my future music. Let me know if there's something that you want me to dive deeper in on in a future breakdown, and be sure to catch a teaser for the next song coming this Friday. See ya!